If you're new to globetrotting, why not hit that subscribe button? Airbus has suggested that it may further develop the A350 program, potentially leading to the release of a new model. But why would the manufacturer look to evolve what is already a successful program so quickly? And would it be the right decision? Well, first of all, talk of Airbus proceeding with a new A350 follows comments from the CEO shared with Aviation Week. The interview focused on the prospective new A350 model as a means to evolve the wide-body program and find ways to build upon the success that has already been enjoyed. Primarily, the focus of the new variant would be to develop the existing A350-1000 base, add on some range and also capacity. Unlike its counterpart Boeing, Airbus now finds itself in a fortunate position where it can innovate and find ways to attract new customers, retain existing ones, and certainly counter the sales of upcoming or existing competitor aircraft. Despite initial comments on this prospective variant, details on the A350 model that has been on the lips of so many people remains scarce. Still, it at least highlights that innovation is once again at the forefront of the long-term business plan. With the requirements for commercial aircraft evolving, a new A350 model would offer greater range and capacity compared to previous models. Additionally, as concerns about congestion at major international airports, which, don't worry, I'll get into, continue to increase at airlines, the higher capacity model may just be a more efficient solution to cope with this. A key reason why Airbus is looking to further develop the A350 program with a new variant is to erode the position that the 777X has. Boeing's 777X was launched in 2013, however the jet remains uncertified and is yet to truly make its mark on the industry, with that not expected for at least another couple of years. And by that point, what Airbus will have been able to do is have its A350 airborne for quite some time, already long proving itself to many airlines to be an efficient, reliable, and also flexible solution to long-haul flying needs. And as a result, if we're looking at the A350 and 777X programs, you're really seeing that the Dash 1000 model better rivals the 777-9. But if Airbus could find a way to erode any requirement for the 777X for some customers, this would be very beneficial. Adding possible efficiency upgrades, better capacity, and range to the Dash 1000 platform poses the question to customers that may be considering the alternative in the 777X, and the question being as well, should they stick with the current model or make the switch to Airbus for their future long-haul needs? A lot of focus on the industry also rests on the ability to replace some of your larger planes, and with no true high-capacity airliner emerging, certainly not one that is a quad-engined, how do airlines go about this? And yes, I'm really looking at Dubai-based Emirates here. Emirates is the largest operator of the A380, however it is aware that despite its calls for a successor, a new model remains highly unlikely from the plane maker. Arguably one of Emirates' concerns has been how it will go about replacing the quad-engine plane, and this can extend towards certain other airlines to an extent as well. With congestion expected to increase across major airports and the reality that new airports can't be built quick enough, let alone the expansions of terminals at existing ones, Emirates has pretty repeatedly stated that it believes this will have an impact on operations right around the world, and it is a very valid concern that it holds. For those flying still with the hub and spoke model, these quad-engine super jumbos I speak of do still serve a purpose. Even if they are inefficient, they're working. Therefore, an option, such as even a higher capacity 350 model, which could exceed the 777-9 to be on par with increased range, may be what these major airlines desire, instead of opting for something smaller to replace planes such as the A380. That is just some food for thought. Since the series entered service, Airbus has enjoyed quite considerable success with this family, and the prospect of launching a new variant would only build upon this. But the thing is, a new A350 variant is not something that the industry has not heard before, and certainly not something I haven't covered here on the channel before. Throughout the 2010s, there was considerable discussion about Airbus's interest to further enhance this product. Dubbed the A350-2000, or more commonly known as the Stretch, this prospective aircraft variant was seen as a natural extension at the time on the A350-1000 base platform, and would help not only only replace Super Jumbos, but combat sails for the 777X. While there was some interest internally from Airbus, it was not ultimately pursued, and really the last time we had an executive at least mention this, it was pretty clear that priorities lay elsewhere, and the European plane maker was pretty happy with the overall program as it was, and didn't feel the need to innovate any further and overcomplicate, let alone cannibalize existing variants, rendering them useless by creating something better so soon. And really, since the talk in the 2010s, their focus has shifted to how they can develop the series in a meaningful and also impactful way. You're looking at areas such as the A350-1000 ULR and even the birth of a dedicated freighter. Both of these are set to serve a pretty important purpose in the more short to medium term. What I mean by that is launching in the short to medium term. Obviously, they will fly for decades and decades to come. Ultimately, whether Airbus fully commits to developing a new model in this family remains to be seen. And what I mean by that is an A350-2000 or one that increases on the Dash 1000 platform. We've already had discussions over an A350neo towards the beginning of this decade. It would be a little bit soon for that to come about, but maybe that is all up for consideration. Do they leverage new engine technologies, whack them on the A350, and then put forward an increased capacity and range, sell that, and take quite a chunk away from what Boeing would be expecting in 777X sales? Those are all possibilities in the long term and great food for thought. I'd love to hear your take down below in the comments. Do you believe them floating this is a great way forward? Or are you in the camp that they should really continue to just stick with the existing models, try and sort out supply chain issues before they do develop anything else? Thanks for tuning in to another video here on Globetrotting. Subscribe if you haven't already, it'd be greatly appreciated. Take care, and I'll see you next time.